Hello, everyone. We appreciate you joining us from wherever you are. We have a stellar lineup today. Excited to share information with you about one of CII's most popular offerings, our Communities for Business Advancement. I'm Jenny Bien, the Associate Director for Communications and Membership at CII. And like I mentioned, the CBAs are really a great place to find subject matter experts on given topics that we're going to dive into today. Also a really great place for learning if you're newer to any topics. So eager to hear more about these groups. Without further ado, I will go ahead and hand it over to Bob, and he will introduce our topic and our presenters today.
Thank you very much, Jenny. I want to welcome you all to this opportunity. It's the first time we've done a CII-wide webinar to share with our members the advantages of having your company have participate in more than one CBA, and then have the leaders of those CBAs share with you things that they're working on and their plans for the new year. So typical, we always start with the winter safety moment, and this with the snow in New Orleans and in the South this past week, we felt that the winter safety tip was appropriate to include in this program. That walk like a penguin really does work. Those of us who grew up in the North have been walking like penguins all of our lives. And then the other pieces, of course, is footwear. Keep your hands out of your pockets so you have balance. Take extra care with the traffic. Don't take shortcuts, watch where you're going, and don't rush. So here's the agenda for our session. We're going to do a little overview about CBAs, some of the benefits, and we're going to have some testimonials from some of our leaders about why their company is engaged in multiple CBAs. And then you'll hear from each of our CBAs, the leaders, to talk about their specific programs and why they think you might be interested in joining them in their activities. And we'll close that part of it out with Bill O'Brien talking about the Technology Committee, both its interface with the CBAs and things that the Technology Committee is going to be working on that are of interest to you. So let's talk about a quick overview. Most of you have probably at some point in time seen the CII mission and vision. When you think about the things that we do, platform to create and drive innovative solutions, really using that academic-based discipline approach. The CBAs were really created over time to try and foster all of that. They share the experience and challenges in each of their subject areas. They identify emerging concerns in the capital facilities industry and then recommend research for the CII to consider funding over the coming year or years. That then leads to, if the project is that they've suggested is funded, them providing the subject matter experts to support that research. And lastly, CBAs really are kind of the front door. It's an easy way to get people in your company engaged with CII. So let's talk about the testimonials. Paul Burrows at OPG, past chair of the Board of Advisors, really sees CBAs as a foundational forum for really advancing the core functions of the capital facilities industry. At OPG, they specifically have members involved in 5 to 6 CBAs at any given point in time. Todd Sutton on the technology side, really at Zachary Corporation, really sees the CBAs as a way to link that research at the cutting edge with the tools, and then he's listed the specific technology areas and CBAs that they're engaged in. Tricia Thibodeau, another past chair of CII at Fluor, really sees this as a great point of entry for the younger members of her company to gain experience and learnings in terms of what's going on in the industry and bring that back. Mike DeBril, as a service provider, really adds that too. For him as a service provider, CBA participation has been transformative. It really helps them with their young employees in terms of their professional growth and this whole idea of a culture of continuous development and collaboration. So here's where the CBAs are engaged. First of all, across the board with funded studies, as I already mentioned, both in terms of identifying research areas and then providing the subject matter experts to support them. The deployment committee, which is actually the home of the CBAs, engages the CBAs to help take what's been done as way of research and best practices and get it spread across their membership. And then lastly, Bill O'Brien is going to talk about the technology committee and its day in, day out interface with the CBAs. As we all know, we're dealing with technology constantly in terms of addressing the various issues that are on our plate. So here's where the CBAs meet. They meet virtually once a month. They also meet face-to-face at the annual conference. These are the days and times. You'll see this slide a couple of times in the deck, and each of the CBAs in their presentation will talk about it as well. And what's the commitment? Average person joining a CBA spends an hour, hour and a half a month in terms of their participation. Now, if on the other hand, you're interested in a leadership position, a chair or vice chair, or to lead a subcommittee, that's 3 to 6 hours a month. CBAs are comprised of owners, EPCs, and service providers, and you can engage by contacting me, and there'll be several slides in here as to things, including a QR code that you can use and share with your colleagues in your company in terms of getting your engagement. So let's talk about the areas of focus. Each of the CBAs, these are the 8 CBAs we'll be covering, and the individuals who will be giving their presentations. We'll start out with the advanced work packaging, and I'll turn this over to Eric Crivella and Dario Rigaud. Eric?
Hey, thank you, Bob. If we want to go to the next slide there. So for over 10 years, for about 10 years now, we have been ramping up the adoption and the programmatic deployment of AWP through the CBA. Since 2015, I think it is. And we've really been using this as a center, a hub for the AWP community to scale things going forward. Go ahead to the next one. So the group meets once a month, but there's subcommittees, and there's a lot of initiatives that we've focused on over the past years, but the initiatives for 2025 and going forward, really, kind of lofty vision to have a group of people focused on these different initiatives to scale AWP and the deployment of it, right? So specifically working with CII to help frame up what the AWP certification looks like with PMI, and doing a lot of education and outreach in terms of trying to pick up the ball and help frame what our conference looks like and our educational outreach and social media and a number of videos that have been put together. And then this year we have a special focus in which we're looking at AWP and project controls. I view it as kind of two sides of the same coin along these lines, but we have a lot of collaboration going on between the project control CBA and the AWP CBA. And so we're looking to do some additional research and joint working groups along those lines and make it into a living lab, if you will. And then on the digital execution side of it, we're taking up the lead in terms of trying to put together the data requirements in a harmonized spec type of environment that brings together the AWP, the CFO spec for the continuous handover, and the 3D spec, right, going forward, as well as taking on what's it look like from an AI and machine learning going forward. We know we need to stay on top of that. And how do we frame this from an international standards body perspective? And then my colleague, Fernando Espana, has been doing a wonderful job in bringing together the AWP, Lean, CURT, and production planning, operational science communities all together and really looking at the next gen. And so some really wonderful things going on there. Most recently, we've had discussions with how to apply AWP into the US government and the various agencies that were some fruitful discussions along those lines. My colleague, Dario, you want to jump in here in terms of some of the publications and where we're going with our meetings?
Absolutely. Thanks, Eric. Well, I'm Dario Rigaud, Vice Chair of the AWP CBA. And last year we worked on several publications. And this year we are coordinating with CII to get them published. These include AWP data requirements, AWP for engineering, and the latest findings on AWP benefits. We believe you'll find these insights very beneficial. Next slide, please. Building on what Eric shared, our focus areas are addressed through joint working groups, research, and monthly meetings with special topics and discussions. This year, we started with a planning session to gather feedback. Based on that, our next three sessions are in February, Advanced Project Controls and AWP, March, Smart Modular Reactors, SMRs and AWP, April, a case study on AWP and semiconductors. Later in the year, we'll use CBA feedback to address real-world implementations, data, AI, ML, and the AWP certification program, and more. In July, we'll host an in-person event at the CII conference, followed by an August recap, and we'll finish the year strong in December with a recap and a sub-analysis. So, why join us? Next slide, please. If you are unfamiliar with AWP, joining us is an opportunity to learn and get started. Recognized as a CII best practice for over 10 years, AWP offers an holistic approach to project delivery. At the CBA, we're a hub for AWP knowledge and innovation, working to address challenges and shaping the future of execution. Our diverse network and implementation expertise inspires next generation leaders, including women in construction. So if you are ready to elevate your projects and join a community striving for excellence, please reach out to Bob. We're thrilled to have you on board. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move on to the modularization CBA, Kathy Farina.
Well, welcome everyone. My name is Kathy Farina, and I'm Vice Chair for the Modularization CBA. So we currently have about 90 members on our roster. They're varied from owners to contractors to suppliers and service providers. We also have a variety of members that range from little experience in modularization to subject matter experts. Next slide. So what is our purpose? For the Modularization CBA, we really are a formal venue for the exchange of that knowledge that is useful in the planning, designing, and executing modularization and capital projects. We really want to elevate modularization as a consideration, the primary consideration for project development. So that's kind of our main purpose. Next slide. So our chair is Michael Cluck from KBR. We got myself as vice chair, and then we've got Dr. Gina Oakchoy as our academic advisor. As Robert mentioned, we do meet the first Wednesday of the month at 10 a.m. Central Time. And we typically, for our meetings, have one or two presentations followed by discussion. So we really want everyone to participate and engage. So we do use tools like Mural and Mente during our sessions. And then historically, usually at the conference, the annual conference, will have a face-to-face meeting with the CBA, the Modularization CBA. Next slide. So here's a brief history of the MCBA. In 2012, the group was created after RT 283, the industrial modularization research, was completed. And then modularization was nominated as a best practice in 2015. And throughout all those years, we did develop some tools and educational presentations and supported the facility standardization research. And then in 2021, we supported the business case analysis for modularization research. And that research developed tools to really help companies develop a business case to modularize. And then starting in August of this last year, the MCBA is really supporting the latest research on developing an advanced planning guide for modularization. So that's going to be a little bit of our focus here. Yeah, perfect. Our focus for 2025 is going to be supporting that planning guide. So our topics each month will really reflect a key area for modularization. during the advanced planning. And we typically have 2 to 3 presenters and an allowance for some of that discussion after those presentations. So you can see here are our topics for the next, I guess 11 months. Starting with engineering and design strategies, but going through all those kind of different key topics and ending kind of in that advanced technologies application strategies. And then we are looking at really doing some different collaboration opportunities with the other CBAs because we are all interconnected somehow. So we're looking at really from some of those key areas helping or getting the other CBAs to collaborate with us. So we welcome you to come and join us. We would love your input into our topics and our key areas. And if you're just learning about modularization, this is a really great way to get introduced. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you in our CBA.
Thank you, Kathy. And we'll go on to Mike Muggio for Safety CBA.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Muggio. I'm the EHS Construction Manager at Con Edison, and I'm the Safety CBA Chair. Although each of our companies are involved in different aspects of the construction industry, all of us have the same goal and vision in the realm of safety, where safety is our top priority. So the purpose of this, the CBA, is to have a formal venue for the exchange of safety principles, practices, and related knowledge relative to construction safety, and to enhance our safety performance. We use the Safety CBA as a way to increase our safety knowledge and communicate safety-related topics amongst members. We have a shared vision of a zero harm workplace through the leveraging of lessons learned and best practices, and the overarching goal is for its members to elevate safety performance standards across CII. Some of the past activities we've had was first off, we encourage our strong engagement within the meeting with each of our members, and the CBA works as a forum for member companies to discuss and review safety-related topics and events, as well as having discussions on current and previous CII research, presentations by outside agencies such as OSHA, incident lesson learned from member companies, and utilizing the CBA as a safety benchmark on pressing issues that are within your company. Next slide, please. So the area of focus for the CBA is on construction industry safety issues, principles, and practices applicable to the planning, execution of capital facility projects. The Safety CBA is tasked with enabling effective safety-related practices to drive measurable improvement across member companies, and knowledge sharing and communication is the key to this effort. So upcoming meetings that we have is to focus on the hazard recognition and SIF prevention, which is significant injury and fatalities, and a review of a recent SIF that happened at one of our member companies. And we ask members that submit topics and discussion points on events, incidents to share for the greater community. And remember, the Safety CBA serves as an essential platform for advancing construction safety through collaborative learning and the application of best practices. With making sure that we use strong commitment to achieving in a zero harm workplace. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to the Supply Chain Management, CBA. Annabella?
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Mike. From one of the most established CBAs in safety, as Mike talked about, I get the pleasure to talk about one of the youngest one, the Supply Chain Management, CBA. Members within CII identified the supply chain as one of the most understudied areas of capital projects, which is one of the main reasons that this group exists. My name is Annabella Martin, and I have the pleasure of leading along with Rod LaPointe and academic advisors Amelia Salosa from UC Boulder and Beneath Dharmapalan from the University of Hawaii, this great group of individuals that comes together once a month to discuss tools, technologies, and practices being tested or in some cases implemented by our member companies to enhance the way that information is being shared on our projects. Engineering, we know, connects to construction through procurement and through supply chain functions, and data and information and being able to share that effectively and on a timely basis means the success of a lot of our projects. Last year, we actually went beyond our group and we joined forces with the Information Management Subcommittee, which sits within the Technology Committee, and we're extending our reach and creating a community to tackle the digitalization of supply chain. Next slide. Now, one of the key members in this effort is, many of you know, John Fish. John Fish is committed to making sure that we digitize our industry before he moves on to a better life, and we want to make sure that we can make this happen. We understand that this cannot be done just by one individual or one organization, so we have gathered a group of passionate individuals and experts from these companies that are taking on the challenge to digitize the supply chain. What does this mean? If we go to the next slide. This group is trying to understand what already exists out there in terms of efforts that are being taken to digitize the supply chain. So you can see in this image here, CII is one organization amongst many that are taking on this challenge. We've had the opportunity to connect with IOGP, Process Industries Practice, and the Digital Data Chain Consortium to learn about technologies that are being currently deployed. And here I'd like to give some thanks to Heath Sarin from Chevron for connecting us to ShareCat, who credit is for this slide is due to ShareCat. Because through them, we're really learning about technologies and programs that are already out there, which we could leverage immediately and start gaining the benefits of a digitized supply chain. Next slide, please. So what are the future activities for this group, which is led by John Fish? We had a kickoff meeting in December, and in February, we will actually have a non-CII member company, MRC Global, will be speaking to us about their digitization strategy and the efforts that they are making and the practices they have in place, as well as technologies with connecting information from OEM and suppliers into the capital project information ecosystem. In March, another non-CII member from BASF is going to speak to us about VDI, which is a digital manufacturer information standard, a Europe-based standard, which is becoming the basis of the digital product passport, which many OEMs and manufacturers will need to implement soon in Europe, and we will see that extend that into the US as well. We will continue to interview OEMs and supplier and continue to increase our network. We want to ensure there's alignment and coordination with the process industries practice digitization community. And then we will also have opportunities to continue to educate and socialize this idea and the effort in conferences such as Valve and Americas. So that's an insight of what we're doing with the joint working group. I'd like to now turn it over to my colleague Rod to talk about what we're doing in the research space.
Hello, everyone. Actually, thanks, Annabella. And I also just want to talk about a few of the exciting things we're doing here in 2025 within the supply chain CBA. So the first thing is obviously the digitization program that we're working on. We're well advanced, and for me, one of the most exciting things is that we've connected with this group in Europe that has very similar goals, and they're actually a step or two ahead of where we were, so we're collaborating with them, and that's really interesting to see what they're doing in Europe and how that can help us advance things along. Even just in the last week, we found out there's a research team at Cambridge University that we can try to work with and see if we can leverage that to the common goal as well. The second one is this one here that's showing on the screen. It's RT413. So this is a continuation of a research topic that we worked on last year, and it's about advancing supplier qualification processes. So our intent is to move it beyond the traditional safety and quality and financial benchmarks, which are all still obviously very valid, but we're adding innovation and collaboration into those discussions and how suppliers get pre-qualified to participate on projects. And we might even bring in the digitalization concept into that discussion as well. Next slide, please. So this is our look ahead at the coming year. So we're the first few months, we've mapped out some topics here that we want to talk about. Our next one is obviously very interesting to many, with the tariffs that may or may not come into play and how that could impact our projects, right? So we want to take a forward look and brainstorm on what that looks like and how that could impact us and our capital projects that we're doing. And then we're looking to join forces with other CBAs. Obviously, Kathy mentioned about the overlap. There's overlap everywhere for supply chain as well with many of the other CBAs. So we're looking to collaborate with others, like we are with the information management in the joint working group. This can lead to additional topics, right? So we're looking to have those conversations with other CBAs and flesh out the rest of the year. What else would people like to talk about? So we're open to suggestions. We're obviously open to new members, and we hope you reach out to Bob and join our efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to quality and Scott Trammell.
Thank you, Bob. Hi, my name is Scott Trammell. I am the current vice chair of the Quality Management CBA. And our purpose, very similar to safety and many of the other organizations, quality is important in every aspect, every phase of a project. And so to that end, the Quality Management CBA, we not only have members within the quality community, but we also try and invite and interact with other organizations that I'll talk about a little bit more, to really bring to bear the unique talents and perspective that the quality organization usually has on a project to help ensure good project performance. So a couple of examples in our monthly meetings, we meet once a month just like the other CBAs. Some of the past discussions we had a really good discussion on understanding what are the common areas of quality breakdowns and how are companies and projects reacting to those typically. We had a really good presentation by the CII group that manages the data warehouse to bring a good understanding of the huge amount of data that is within CII's data warehouse and how we can use that within the quality organization to help us and our role. We had a really good discussion on the use of UAVs and drones to support not only quality activities, but that actually expanded into understanding and having some good presentations on how drones are used to help other construction, for example, and startup and operations in their activities as well. And then one of our latest discussions is the use of AI. Of course, everyone is looking into artificial intelligence and how it can help them make their job better. So we had a nice focused discussion on how various companies are starting to use AI to really help within the quality arena. Next slide, please. So in addition to our monthly discussions, we have also been key participants or have led some research topics. I just want to touch on two of them real quickly. The first one, RT406. This was an effort to really spend some time rethinking quality management, the culture, the values, and what are the barriers. And one of the things that came out of that research topic was this quality culture assessment tool. It's a tool that you can use. You go through, answer questions, and it helps you identify areas kind of compared to a benchmark where you may have some gaps within project quality. And once you identify those gaps, it gives you some suggestions on some resources that would potentially help you close those gaps. Another example is this RT13. Everyone's probably finds it difficult to really come up with a good set of metrics. So this research topic was focused on trying to really get to a standardized as possible a quality metric. And the output of this was this publication 313-2, which you could use. It kind of gives you a step-by-step approach to implementing a quality pyramid. And it's just a way to kind of visualize quality performance and how to help you measure organizations' existing quality management practices and how effective they're being. So those are two of our more detailed activities that we've undertaken. Next slide, please. So looking ahead to 2025, our big focus this year is going to be how can quality interact or support other organizations and help them leverage quality's unique perspective and knowledge that we typically have on a project. And an example of that is we've had several discussions with the risk management CBA, and that is because oftentimes risks identified are limited to those that are easily identifiable in terms of their impact, cost and schedule. But often quality runs across things that it's really, it's very hard to precisely define that. So we want to continue working with the risk management CBA, and we have an upcoming meeting in February, once again, a joint discussion to really try and understand how can we bring quality's unique perspective to improve the risk management process. Excuse me. And then in March coming up, we have another discussion focusing on change management strategies. How can we kind of develop a formal common baseline on how to implement good change management? So if you're in the quality community, we definitely want you to engage. We'd like you to join, but even if you're not, we think there's definite value that we can bring to you and that you can also bring to us. So please feel free to contact Bob and hopefully get engaged. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to our youngest CBA, data analytics, and Ricky Siciliano.
Thank you, Robert. I'm delighted to present this review of the data analytics CBA efforts within the Construction Industry Institute. The Data Analytics CBA serves as a formal venue where professionals can exchange principles and best practices to improve engineering, procurement, and construction outcomes. We explore how analytics can play a pivotal role in enhancing safety, cost efficiency, scheduling, and overall execution. Our goals are to foster a deeper understanding of data analytics, provide a foundation for effective benchmarking, and use data to drive continuous improvement across projects. This past year, the CBA has been actively engaging in initiatives to expand our collective expertise. In June, we had a joint meeting with the members of the Lean Construction Institute focused on bridging different stages in project development. Collaboration has been a cornerstone of our efforts. We had joint sessions with the Project Controls and Risk Management CBA in April and July. In August, we hosted a presentation by the Association of General Contractors Chief Economist, and he provided a macroeconomic perspective on construction trends and analytics. We also hosted a session on accelerated artificial intelligence-enabled data analytics and engineering. In November, we worked with the Quality Management CBA to explore how data analytics can elevate quality assurance practices. Finally, we had the opportunity to highlight member advancements such as Petronas's correlation studies, which revealed new opportunities for data-driven decision-making. These activities show our commitment to innovation and collaboration. Each initiative brings us closer to driving industry excellence through data. Next slide, please, Robert. So let's now discuss key areas of focus within the CBA. Our primary aim is to define best practices that improve outcomes. This means looking just beyond technology and addressing organizational and work process challenges that come with integrating data analytics. One of our cornerstone tools in the CII is the Data Warehouse, a platform that enables members to effectively share and analyze project data. It's not just about storing the data, but unlocking its potential to guide strategic decisions. This includes setting data standards that ensure consistency and developing technologies to enhance data applications. As we look forward, our focus will not only be on what we can do, but on equipping you with the knowledge and skills to harness its power. For instance, our January meeting of this year covered training on access to the CII data warehouse and using it, and that's crucial to get access through the CII website. And in February and March, we'll address project data normalization processes and explore various ways of contributing data to the data warehouse. As always, we're going to invite members to suggest discussion topics and share experiences so we can collectively elevate the field of data analytics. Again, looking ahead to 2025, we're doubling down on our efforts to make data analytics a transformative force in the industry. Here are some primary examples. We'll focus on equipping our members with hands-on training for the data warehouse that'll empower you to access, utilize, and benefit from the vast repository of project data that already exists. We'll continue to encourage members to actively contribute project data to the data warehouse, as this collective effort is essential for continuing meaningful analysis and benchmarking. Beyond contributing data, we're calling for ideas, suggesting topics for future CBA meetings, and sharing your experiences will help us tailor discussions to address real-world challenges. We're going to really place a large emphasis on the burgeoning fields of artificial intelligence and machine learning. By expanding insights into these concepts, we aim to optimize project performance, reduce cost, and enhance execution. Some examples are sorting through the hype of artificial intelligence. When will we begin to see real traction in the project management and construction industries? How do you build a custom GPT model? And while there's a lot of promise in machine learning and artificial intelligence, when can basic data correlation provide you the information that you need when data is not as large as what is required for machine learning? And lastly, we'll look at data characterization, cleanup, and preparation for machine learning. So our hope is that this year will be one of measurable improvements in data analytics across the industry, thanks to the participation and collaboration of everyone involved, including you.
Thank you. We'll move on now to our project controls and risk management CBAs. The past 2 years, these two CBAs have been meetings at the same time, and we'll go through separately their major areas of focus. And speaking on the project control side, Fabian Simonkel. Fabian?
Thank you, Bob. Good day, everybody. My name is Fabian Simonkel. I'm the vice chair of the project control CBA. And we look at project controls, and we look at scope, schedule, budget, cost management, and change management from your baseline, right? So the project controls CBA is comprised of a lot of leaders, from owners, contractors, and service providers, along with technology leaders. As a member of CII, joining our CBA provides the opportunity for you to collaborate with a select group of industry leaders. We do have a very diverse group, comprising of a little bit of everybody on the project execution lifecycle. Our shared visions for this year and project controls is really automation. We do a lot of work with the AWP CBAs. We are starting to look at AI, and we have some sessions planned to start working with the data analytics CBAs. So really AI, how do we utilize that information? How do we mature that information? How we report on that information? Some past activities has been, typical scope, schedule, budget, cash flows, and really KPI related. Next slide, please, Rob. What we want to really do from an engagement standpoint, you can reach out to Rob. We have meetings every month, and we share knowledge, right? We are trying to encourage and make sure that all our CBA members have this open forum where we could listen, and we can really take that feedback and start structuring, processes moving forward, ideas moving forward, and things to carry to the committees for research. So how to engage? Definitely shoot Rob, Bob a email, shoot myself an email. I'll produce that information. We really want to concentrate this year on automation. Again, working with AWP, we are reviving 402. We are working with advanced project controls. We're looking at data analytics, and we are looking at the digital threads and how we could create information flow from owners straight down to contractors, contractors back up to the owners. Upcoming meeting topics, research topic 402. It's a very interesting maturity matrix that was done by a select team. We are starting to go through that and revive that, because that helps the AWP, the project controls, CBAs build on that framework that was done. Risk management collaboration with Swati and her group, especially on the SMRs. Swati is directly involved in that. Project controls technology with an AI focus, that's really the digital thread. How do we enable and enhance the AI factors around that, how we consume information, how we report the information. Next slide. So collaborations and opportunities, the RT402 build out, really the maturity matrix, advanced project controls with AWP, the digital thread. You're going to hear a lot about this coming up. It's really what language do we speak and how do we put that together? And project control systems, right? Somebody pointed it out earlier, I think it was Rich, that, hey, there's a lot of systems out there and there's a lot of hopes, but how do we really implement them and how do we structure that information that we can utilize it efficiently? So that is my I'll hand it over to Swati.
Thank you. Swati?
Thanks, Fabian. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. Thank you for joining the session. I'm Swati Tyagi, Senior Manager of Projects at Ontario Power Generation, currently supporting the SMR project. I've had the privilege of being part of the CII for the last 8 years and recently was elected as chair for the Risk Management CBA. I'm excited to talk to you today about why you should consider joining our CBA community and how it can help advance your business, especially when it comes to risk management. We all know that risk is part of any business, especially in the world of project management. And I say this often, just like safety, risk is everyone's responsibility. No matter what area of the project you're supporting, we all play a part, and hence it's important. It's an important topic. So that's where our CBA community comes in. We provide a collaborative environment to not only tackle some risk topics, but also discuss strategies on how we can advance the ways of managing risks better. So we share insights amongst the different companies. We have quite a few member companies that are part of our CBA, and it provides a really good forum to bounce ideas and see how different companies are doing it. And then that's to me the practical advantage. So you can take it back to your parent organization and say, hey, this is what I learned, and something we can implement in our company. Next slide. So these are some of the topics that we've gone through in the past, but I really want to focus on something that we do different. That is really not operating in a silo and just talking about risk management month after month. We often work with different teams, whether it's project controls or AWP or quality. I think you just heard we're going to have a joint session in February, or data warehousing. We're really collaborating with many different CBAs, and that is our focus going forward, because we want to keep it exciting for our members and not just talk about the same topics that we've covered in the past. And next slide, I think, is what is coming up. So again, our focus, we're keeping up with all of the emerging trends, and you've heard throughout the webinar the piece on AI and how it's reshaping basically everything that we're doing in the project world. But as as AI continues to evolve, we know it comes with its own threats and opportunities. So in our CBA, we're going to dive deep into this topic as it relates to risk management and see how we can practically use AI, whether it's to identify risks or quantify the impacts of them, or talk about mitigation strategies and whatnot. So we're really going to have a focus session, multiple sessions throughout the upcoming year, to come up with some practical ways on how we can leverage AI. So yeah, that's what you can expect from the risk management CBA. And I think just as a closing point, I want to say, like, by joining the CBA, you're really, joining a forum for an open dialogue where you can bring in any challenges that you may be facing, share lessons learned, contribute your experiences, and really, help our members and yourselves as well. So that's all from my side. Thank you for your time, and I hope you join our CBA. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, myself or Robert. We'll be happy to connect. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And now I'm turning to Bill O'Brien, who's Associate Director for Technology. And Bill's going to cover what the Technology Committee is up to and its areas of collaboration with the CBAs. Bill?
Great, thanks, Bob. And oh my gosh, talk about drinking from the fire hose. There's so much good stuff that happens at CII. I wish I had more time to get involved in everything. And there's so much there that the CBAs are just a great entry point into CII in terms of getting your toe wet to all the way digging a really deep dive into various things. So, gosh, I've got 6 more things I got to follow up on after all that. Well, as Bob said, I'm the Associate Director for Technology. Technology, of course, permeates everything that we do in our practice these days. And we've sort of organized ourselves around that as the Technology Committee to think about how can we be a support organization for CII, and that means we're supporting a lot of the CBAs. So we do various events at the Technology Committee, either within our subcommittees or as the Technology Committee overall, and there are 3 main subcommittees: information management, Horizon 360, and interoperability. I'll talk about those in a second. The next slide, Bob. So lots of opportunities for collaboration with the Technology Committee and CII. We put on every year an annual conference technology showcase. You can see a little picture over there on the right about that from last year's. Doing demonstrations of technology. We've had vendors come in and talk about that. We've had member companies come in and talk about that. They're using technology. So your nominations are now. So if there's something that you are doing that's really cool or know someone doing really cool, get them in. It's we'd love to have it. Love to exhibit it. Technology Committee puts on seminars that are either CI-wide or technology-wide. We had one on AI. Led by Gareth Davis and Bechtel on Q4 last year. And then coming up next month, Chevron is going to be talking about industrial 3D printing and their experience doing that. So please join, listen in, and suggest some opportunities, maybe sponsor an event or contribute to those events. Getting back to our subcommittees, those are what I would think about the peers to the CBA. We have the information management, which is talking about governance and use of technology. And Annabella had talked about the supply chain joint working group with the supply chain CBA. How do we digitize the supply chain, make that real? It's so much potential there. Horizon 360 scans and evaluates technologies for the industry. And interoperability promotes seamless data exchange. There's a joint working group with the AWP CBA that's put out 2 editions of data requirements for AWP and has recently been translated to CFOS, which, for those not into the jargon, that basically makes it operationalize it to put it into large-scale computing systems. So we're open very much to collaborating on topics, cross-meetings, sponsoring research topics, joint working groups. Come join one of our technology committees, subcommittees, IM, Horizon 360, or interoperability. Join some events, definitely join the CBA. With that, Bob, so excited. Let me turn that back over to you.
Thank you, Bill. And let's turn it to the questions that we've received. And Jenny, if you could cover some of those questions, and we'll...
Absolutely. At this point, we have one question. Feel free to submit those using the Q&A panel. The question is, how can we apply to a CBA? So I think the answer to that is you have to be a CII member. And if you are a CII member, the process is quite simple. You can reach out to Bob, robert.weibel, W-I-B-L-E, at cii.utexas.org, or you can, I'm sorry, not org, .edu, or you can scan the QR code that we also showed. And we will get you signed up for as many CBAs as you are interested in. So if you are with a member company, as many CBAs are open to you and your colleagues as you are interested in joining. That is our second question. Can one person be on multiple CBAs? The answer is yes. They have strategically planned meeting times for these groups to not coincide or clash with each other. They have very structured meeting times. They pick a certain day of the week or of the month even, and they meet with repetition on that day so you know when your group is going to meet. And
let me add to that, Jenny, that one of the things that you may want to do is just come in and attend one of the meetings and maybe audit, if you will, and then decide those the subjects and areas that you want to be engaged in. And then there are probably colleagues in your company that would benefit from seeing this presentation, so it will be posted, and share it across the company, because as we had in the testimonials, a number of companies are in 5, 6 of the CBAs, and with multiple people from their company, and quite an opportunity that is they're seeing the benefit of their CII membership in this way. Any other questions?
We don't have any live, but yeah, as Bob noted, actually, here comes one. How can I check if my company is a member company of CII? So if you go to the Construction Industry Institute homepage, that is construction-institute.org, and there are 3 drop downs at the top. The very third drop down, if you click on that, you'll see a member list. And you can click on that member list and you can find out if your organization is a member of CII. There is a process to join. You'd have to reach out to me if you're interested and complete an application. There's different levels and categories of membership. The standard membership is just under $40,000. The small membership is half of that, just under $20,000. We have a special category for innovative startup tech-focused companies called a breakthrough category at $10,000. And at any level, that provides you with unlimited access to engage in any of these groups. We also have a request to share today's slides. We absolutely will do that. We will also post the recording as well as the slides, likely sometime tomorrow. DT, thanks for the good question. Yep, this presentation will be available on the CII website, perhaps as early as tomorrow afternoon. We have another question. Have there been any quick wins using AI within the CBAs? I'll turn that over to the presenters. Any quick wins using AI within the CBAs? Anyone want to volunteer for that?
I could jump on that, Jenny. So we've had some good quick wins. The challenge is, one, the data structure and structuring the data to be implemented by AI, and also what to do with the data, right? So a lot of the recipients of that data, while very complex, has been a challenge to upskill the organizations as we go. So we are seeing a lot of great things happening with AI. It's just the consumption of that information has been a challenge.
Fair. Thanks, Fabian.
Jenny, let me also add, we have had fairly quick wins in terms of information being shared from the CBAs overall with us as we look at potential topics for continued study within CII. So, for example, the AI and safety topic. Thank you.
Very true. Wonderful. Well, I would like to thank all of our presenters today. They are some of our most active volunteers in CII. As you've probably figured out by now, CII is run by the member companies. Our volunteers keep things relevant and keep things really moving along for us and advancing our industry. So I thank each of you for your time and your talent. And with that, I think we'll turn 5 minutes in your day back over to everyone who joined us. We do appreciate it. Stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you at the next CII webinar.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you in a CBA meeting in the future.
That's
Thank
right.
you all presenters. Thank you very much. for presenting.
Yes, thank you. Please do reach out to our team. We are always happy to help. Thanks, everyone.